Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of QRA Live with me, your host, Jimmy, the AcuSensei. And I'm going to get the technology set up, making sure I can see your chat. Let's move this to the side. Awesome. And as people start logging in, I'll go over the disclaimer. Mainly, this is for YouTube and Google. Need to give this disclaimer, otherwise they will shut down this channel. Everything that I share with you today is not medical advice. I am not a physician. I am not trained to prescribe medication. I am not trained to do surgery. So I will not advise you. And none of this is advice for you. You always need to talk to, um, you always need to talk to your practitioner, your family doctor, before you implement anything that I say to you today. Um, this is just pure experience. This is not things that I read from a book. Pure experience about patients. What we do with our patients that we currently treat. Um, and we have treated thousands of patients. And so, yeah, so this is not I did not go to PubMed, read something, and I'm just sharing information, or if it's some meta study. This is the best type of research. So when people ask you about, oh, where, has that been tested, or where's the research behind that? Well, what type of research? The research that I like to do is act on physical, real life patients, right? Not patients not, just animal studies or even patients in the laboratory. Pharmaceutical companies, they do tests and they bring the people in to a facility, and they live in that facility for, weeks and months. That's not real life research because those people are not living their daily lives. What's the best research is people living their daily lives, right? At least that's just for me. All right. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Maria, Dolores, Anna. Thank you for joining in. And Maria has already put in. So, put in to the chat what you want me to discuss or show you a QRA. I will show you a QRA quick restorative acupressure. Now, we do QRA acupuncture in our clinic. I will show you where we put the little pins. That's where you would apply the pressure to get similar results. It's not the same, but it will get similar results. It's not long term. It's not going to fix your problem. To fix your problem, you have to first figure out what's the root cause. Okay, so let's dive in. Because Maria already has ED and no libido help, please. Okay, so I am assuming, Maria, it is not for you. It is either for someone, a male that you know, because erectile dysfunction, right? So erectile dysfunction. Um, Obviously there is a hormonal. Some of the common hormonal ones, people think it's low testosterone, right? And it could be, or it could be an imbalance. So men also have some, this is, men also have female hormones, okay? If you didn't know that. I'm laughing because I've done a few hot flash reels, and some women they criticize me for being a male talking about hot flashes. Um, Men have hot flashes too. Hot flashes are not only in women. Men have hot flashes. Kids have hot flashes, okay? So, which means we have female hormones, we have estrogen, we have progesterone, just very low amounts. Okay. So when a male has ED, erectile dysfunction, it could be majority of the time it's a low testosterone, right? But sometimes it could be high estrogen. So our testosterone levels should be this high. Um, uh, I'll say testosterone level should be this high. Our estrogen level should be this high. This is a balance for men, right? This is a balance for men. This is what we call balance. Balance is not this. Balance is this. Testosterone elevated, estrogen low, right? What if the estrogen comes up like this? Well, there's already imbalance right there, right? Even though the testosterone stays at the same level, but the estrogen level comes up to here, guess what? That's an imbalance. Even if it's side to side, testosterone, estrogen, if it's the same levels, it's the same. Okay. Worse, estrogen is elevated, testosterone is testosterone stays the same, but estrogen shoots through the roof. This is also imbalance. All of this scenario, testosterone was, let's say testosterone was like 800. It stayed at 800, but the estrogen levels were different, right? That can also cause ED, right? There's also a nerve problem, right? So if you're the person you're trying to help, if they have a spine problem in the lower back spine, and the lower back spine, the nerves come out of the spine, right? The nerves, the nerves come out of the spine and they go to the penis area, right? That could also be a problem, right? And so now hormonal problem could also be it's not just the testes. We know the testes are the organs that produce majority of our testosterone, but as we get older, as men get older, that also decreases. So another organ steps in to help out with secreting, producing testosterone. That's called your adrenal glands. You need to stimulate your adrenal glands. You see, this applies to men and women. Just because men and women are different physically, chemically, there's a lot of similarities, right? And so after when men get older, let's say into their 50s and 60s, the testes produce less and less testosterone, but also the adrenal glands step up to help out, just like women, right? It's no different. So that's a hormonal. Maria, I'm just letting you know all the different possibilities to dive into. The worst thing you can do is to have that person take some type of ED medication, what is the name will pop into my brain. I'm sorry. But or the worst thing is to go get some testosterone injections. That's not solving anything. Okay. That's giving them temporarily the ability to have a libido, but it doesn't solve and it actually hurts them long term. Okay. So it's not just about testosterone, just the hormone testosterone. So I talked about the balance. So testosterone hormone, right? The testes not producing enough, or the estrogen is too elevated, the estrogen imbalance. So you need to figure out, you need to suppress that estrogen production, right? You will notice this in men. When men have too much estrogen, this is what they call man boobs, okay? Their breast, it becomes really like a female breast, right? It actually looks like it. I have seen some patients with that, right? And so it's an estrogen problem, right? So you need to figure out what is producing a lot of the estrogen. A lot of the times, not all the time, the men who have low libido, ED, and have man boobs, they're typically obese. They typically are, they have gained weight because fat cells secrete estrogen, right? So by decreasing the fats, that's why, when you it's suggested men should go lift weights. By lifting weights, you can decrease the fat cells producing estrogen, causing that imbalance, right? So I won't go through all the different scenarios because we got some other people listing some things they want me to help with. So I'm just letting you know all the different scenarios. It's a complex thing, Maria. Do not go to a urologist and just get testosterone injections or testosterone pills or get some ED medications. Those don't fix anything. They're all temporary and they make that person, that man, worse. They make their testosterone libido problem worse, okay, in the long term. So if you really want to help truly care for that person, don't go for these short-term gains, right? Because they damage them. The last thing I'll share with about ED and libido is the brain. Where is the pituitary gland? You don't need to know what that means. It is a gland. It's called your master hormone gland. Your master hormone gland is what stimulates, controls all the hormones that are getting secreted in your body, including testosterone. That's a concern. Does the person you're helping, do they have a do they have a tumor on their pituitary gland, a growth that can disrupt the testosterone ED libido problem? Okay. And then the last thing is the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the kind of the I like to say the puppet master, right? The brain is like the puppet master. And if you imagine, the puppet master has controls the puppet by all these strings. These strings I call are the nerves, right? So the hypothalamus really controls, sends message to the pituitary gland, which is your master, your endocrine, your your hormone. It is your endocrine, but I'm trying to use layman terms. Your hormone, master hormone producer. So the conductor tells the hormone producer what to do. So if the conductor is messed up, like you're all stressed out, that person's stressed out all the time, that's going to stress out the conductor. Okay? So there's so much, if this is of interest, type into the comments if you want me to do a video on this. Okay. I just did a video for those of you all tuning in. I did a video about 4 insomnia types and 4 herbal solutions. Go check it out on my channel. All right. Next one, Dolores, cramping leg muscles at night if stretched. Okay, cramping leg muscles. Again, you have to find the root cause, but you can do the stretches, you know, uh, before you go to bed. So Dolores, before you go to bed, you want to do these type of exercises, simple exercises like this first. Pull back, forward. Actually, I just did a reel. It's called the hook and row. Hook and row, right? So you want to do this hook and row. And what you're doing is you're relaxing your muscles and your tendons and ligaments. You do this while you are in bed. So when you are sleeping, while you are in bed, do this, okay? Hook and row, right? Okay. Now, this doesn't solve the root cause. It doesn't prevent them from happening, but I mean, it can prevent them from happening every night, but it doesn't solve the root cause. So that's one exercise you can do, right? Another one is this is a QRA. So the legs, the arms image the legs. So what I would do is either you or you have a loved one or a spouse, your kids, whatever, just massage your arms as well. They can massage your legs as well, but just to get that blood circulating, okay? Now you want to go up and down your legs, up and down your legs. The arms, it doesn't matter. And you just want to grip all over the arms, okay? All over both arms, right? Just massage everywhere in your arms, right? This is a good actually sleep routine, right? This can actually help you relax too. So this is a good sleep hygiene. So you want to just massage your arms, and these are for the cramping legs, okay? Cramping legs. Massage your arms and your legs and do that, okay? And one last thing I will share with you a tidbit. And I've once in a while I get these cramping legs at night when I stretch. It's when you stretch, right? You're sleeping and you're trying to stretch and you're like, ah, right? One thing you can do is you will feel the cramp. A lot of times when you're at night when you're sleeping, uh, and you're stretching and your legs are straight and you feel like your cramp is coming on, one thing you can do, bend your legs. Just bend your legs. That typically will stop the cramp from coming. Okay. But these are all short term. You know, you have to look at what's the sign, what's the cause, right? And then some other causes, these are not the root cause. I'm just working my way backwards. So these are short term, they can temporarily help you relieve it. Then let's go back one step. What caused the cramp? Sometimes it is electrolyte imbalance. I get them after I've exercised a lot. So I've lost a lot of salt, water, so electrolyte imbalance, right? So one thing you can do is to drink some electrolytes during the day, and just a little before you go to sleep, right? But definitely drink water throughout the day. You're probably dehydrated and you've lost a lot of salt. and especially elderly. So most of our patients are 50 and above. What we see is they take a lot of medications, especially if you're on blood pressure medications. They can cause cramps, side effects, right? Every medication causes side effects. Okay, even if you don't feel them, they're causing them. But one co is like potassium sparing diuretics. Those cause electrolyte imbalance. So you can get an electrolyte. What we do for our patients for symptom relief, we give them some electrolyte packets that they just mix with water. Don't get Gatorade. Those are just sugar. So those are making things worse, right? They help one thing and hurt another. Don't do that. Um, so we give for temporary relief, we give the electrolyte packets. Now, to fix it, you need to get some blood work. You need to find someone who, like what we do, I created something, a diagnostic called functional pulse diagnosis. And by feeling your pulse, my team can identify which organs are dysfunctioning. And then to fix the cramping, we fix the organ that's dysfunctioning. Right. But we do all these, we recommend all these things that I'm telling you right now. We recommend all of these things to our patients, right? Because everybody wants symptom relief, quick symptom relief. So we provide that, right? We do it with our QRA acupuncture. I just showed you some. So if you were to come to our clinic, my practitioners, they would be putting acupuncture pins in your arms, not your legs, for your leg cramps. That is QRA. Okay. All right. Let me hope that helps, Dolores. I'll walk daily, and now I'm at 70. Oh, yeah. So see, um, Dolores, yeah, if you check, I don't know if you are taking any blood pressure medications, right? There's many medications. I don't know. There's so many medications, so many side effects. I don't know. I don't have it memorized. But you can go to like drugs.com and search, right? You walk daily, which is good. Dolores, keep that walking. But what you need to do is you need to make sure your electrolytes are balanced. Okay. Sodium, potassium, these are they're not the root cause, but they are the effect. Something happened that caused your sodium and your potassium to be imbalanced, which causes you to cramp. Another one, I'll give you a clue, sometimes, many times, your liver function. The liver controls your tendons and ligaments. Western medicine, if you tell your physician, they don't know this and they'll think you're a weirdo. Okay. Um, but if when we fix the liver of our patients, their cramping stops. Okay. All right. One last one. Okay. Anna, eating a Mediterranean diet now in menopause. Wondering how I can reduce belly fat. I've been told it's because of the hormone depletion in my body. Is there something else I can do to lose it? Okay, so belly fat, it depends on where, Anna, where in your belly, okay? Where in your belly? So this is, let me let me kneel. Okay, so where in your belly? So here's my belly, okay? So where in your belly do you have belly fat, right? I'm assuming many women in menopause, at least the ones that come to our clinic, have this little what we call the pooch, which is down here, right? It's below the belly button, and it's really go down. It's really almost like right here, like a little pooch, right? If that's the case, that could signify female organ dysfunction, right? So have you had a hysterectomy or have you had your ovaries removed? Those would be the questions that I would ask you, Anna. But looking at belly fat, where your fat accumulates, right? So in the pooch down here, mid to lower. So mid to lower. So you could have two things going on, right? You could have a hormonal issue that's causing, and you also get these saddlebags, so we call saddlebags on the hips. There's the pooch right here. This is a hormonal issue, okay? Ah, yeah, yeah. So that is the midsection, right? Midsection is a gut issue because what's all in here? Your intestines, right? Your small intestines, your large intestine goes like this, right? So it's all small intestines right here. So you possibly could have, again, I have not, ex I'm not, I'm not examining you. I can't examine you virtually. But I'm assuming you probably have a hormonal issue and a digestive issue that is causing the inability, the belly fat. So how do you reduce it? Eating a Mediterranean diet is great. You should continue to do that. So that will help you sustain. Most likely, if you have been eating a Mediterranean diet for a long period of time, so like for a year, then you probably have not gained more fat. You just can't lose it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Anna. Um, so to get rid of that belly fat, you need to look at your hormones, your sex hormones, and your digestive system. The Mediterranean diet will help the digestive system, but there's other things that you can do, right? You need to figure because the digestive system is not just your intestines, it's your stomach, it's your spleen. Actually, every organ is involved. Your liver, your pancreas, your spleen. There's your kidneys can affect your digestion. So you need to figure out what specific organ is malfunctioning. Okay. So what I like to say is this, what I tell our patients that come into our clinic, how we help people lose weight is very different, very different. And you probably have never heard this before. That's why we get really good results. Um, we are not looking at the fat. Okay, we are understanding why does your body refuse to release that fat? We understand. So thousands of years ago, this is what they found, that our bodies were built perfectly, and they were built perfectly to have a defense system. Whenever an organ is not functioning correctly, your body is going to try to protect it. And how does it protect it? Well, it's like us. What if we got into a ball that was like a bubble, right? Then we could bounce everywhere and we wouldn't get hurt. That's what our bodies does. Our bodies surrounds the dysfunctioning organ with fat. And as long as that organ is not functioning correctly, your body will always try to protect it. It will try to protect it and surround it with fat. That's why you can't get rid of it. That's why you could do, those weight loss gimmicks and lose weight everywhere but your belly, right? You probably, I don't know, many people have experienced. They do the HCG diet, very low calorie diet. They lose a lot of weight in their arms or legs, their face, but they just can't get rid of their belly fat. It's because those diets do not fix organ dysfunction. So you need someone to figure out which organs are dysfunctioning. Blood work does help, but blood work is not everything. Blood work probably gives you 50% of the data, right? Um, you need someone to really navigate this with you, okay? But once you figure out which is the main organ that is dysfunctioning, then the treatment, right? You need to start treating it. Treat the organ, not the fat. Everybody is focused on the fat, right? That's why they give you the HCG injections. That's why they do the keto diet, right? Oh, they're focused on the fat instead of focusing on why the body is putting fat in your pooch, in your belly, in your lower belly. Why is it doing that, right? That is the root cause, not, oh, the fat. So if you eat a keto diet, right, your body starts burning fat instead, using fat as energy. The brain, which is true, that's why people do lose weight on keto diet. But keto diet is like the ketones. Your body loves sugar, glucose. That is the number one source of energy. Ketones are a substitute. They are like a plan B. So if you imagine your car, there's different types of gasoline. So let's say there's pure gasoline that has less contaminants in it, and then there's watered down gasoline. Which do you think your car runs better on? The pure gasoline, right? Could it run on watered down gasoline? Absolutely. But will it break down sooner or later? Absolutely. That is the difference. That is the same thing when you force your body to run on ketones versus glucose. You need carbs. I'm not talking about simple carbs and sugar. I'm talking about vegetables. I'm talking about fruits. You need those. Those are complex carbs. You need carbs, okay? The ketones, you may see short-term benefit maybe for the first year, right? But then you're going to start seeing decline in other organs. Yes, you may look healthy like an athlete, but internally, Those people, they're diseased, right? You don't hear about them 10 years later because they're suffering of autoimmune conditions and all this other stuff, right? So, but coming back, Mediterranean diet is what I consider the perfect diet to start with. So you need to modify it based on your organ dysfunction. But yeah, hormones, you got similar to what I was talking about, the libido. You need to look at, have you had a hysterectomy? Have you had a oophorectomy? Remove your ovaries, remove your uterus. If you have, it's going to be tougher, but you still can lose the belly fat. You got to focus on your adrenal glands, right? Exercise is great. You're active, great. That is good. It's good to be active. Depends on what you mean by active. Like here in the US, it's very sedentary lifestyle. I'm sitting every day, on the computer. Whereas in Asia, and I was in Germany recently, we're walking everywhere, right? And that's just part of lifestyle. So those are the things you have. You have a hysterectomy. I'm assuming that's what you meant. Yeah. So you got to focus on your adrenal glands, and your adrenal glands are so sensitive to stress. So if you exercise, if you mean active, like you exercise a lot, that's not necessarily a good thing. Too much exercise can stress your adrenal glands. That's why we've treated a lot of, back then there was this workout craze called Orange Theory. Walking is great. Gym is good if you're lifting weights. Yes. There was a craze called Orange Theory. It was just like you can burn all your calories in an hour or something like that, right? And it was craze. And I still have those gyms around. There's like F45, Mark Wahlberg's F45, all of those things, right? They can damage your adrenal glands. We've treated many weight loss patients who exercise 5 days a week and can't lose weight. And it's because and they had a hysterectomy. They removed their uterus, they removed their ovaries, and the only thing producing their sex hormones, including testosterone, which helps you burn fat, is the adrenal glands. And they're stressing their body by working out too much, doing too much intense. Those HIIT trainings, 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes is not an hour. High intensity interval training should be only, especially as we get older. I'm not talking about younger. If you're 50 and above, you should only do those for about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes max. That's why they're called high intensity interval training. You do more than that, you start damaging your adrenal glands. Are you building muscle and supposedly building burning fat? Possibly, yes. But at the same time, you're hurting the root cause. So see, there has to be a balance, right? If you're going to do those HIIT trainings, either do it 30 minutes, right? 3 to 5 times a week, preferably 3 times. Um, and do walking. Swimming. Swimming is the best. Walking is second best. Okay. Walking, if you're depending on the pace that you walk, you need to walk. If you're walking a slow pace, if you can talk while you walk, you need to walk an hour. If you can't talk, you're like, I can't barely make a sentence. You can walk 30 minutes, right? I would do that every day. And here's another thing. I definitely not intense, more lifting weights and walking. Okay, good. Weights are good. Okay. Now weights, you don't want to do heavy weights, right? Again, if you're stressing your body, you're stressing your adrenal glands. You do want amount of stress, a little stress to increase muscle mass. But you don't want too much stress that it hurts your adrenal glands, which hurts your body's ability to secrete testosterone, which you need to burn fat. Okay? Especially for women. So you want to lift weights, you want to do more reps. Like what I'm doing, see, I'm about to turn 49. And so what I'm doing, and I'm still building muscle, but I'm doing a weight where I can do 20 reps every time. 20 reps every time. Okay. So it's nice and controlled. There's none of this yanking and jerking, right? So I'm controlling it very slow, 20 reps. So if you can't do 20 reps, you're using too much weight. Okay. This is for people 50 and above. What I recommend for longevity, restorative longevity. Okay. So, And I hope this helps you. You know, there's a lot more to this that we go into in our clinic, but that's I gave you an outline of what you can start. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it's got my eye swelling. What to do? I'll answer a creative pie really quick. Too much rubbing, touching has got my eyes swelling. What to do? What is causing you to rub and touch? I'm assuming it's itching. I'm assuming your eyes are itching like crazy, right? So you got to solve that problem. What is causing your eyes to itch? Allergies, makeup, creative pie. I don't know if you're, well, men and women can wear makeup. So maybe lotion, right? Or scents, right? You got to find out what is causing your eyes to itch in the first place. And so that it is, you should not, you should try very hard not to rub your eyes. Your eyes are so sensitive. Like even when on your eyelids, you should not rub your eyeballs. Try not to. I know it's hard if you're itching. Try not to rub your eyeballs because you are causing trauma to your eyeballs, okay, as you are rubbing it. So try not to do that. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. One announcement. I am leaving for Taiwan, and I will be there for a few months. So I will be changing this QRA Live. It will probably in the since the Taiwan and also US is flipped. Like right now, it's 8:30 a.m. in US. It's 9:30 in Taiwan. So most likely I will switch to US nighttime to do these because it will be Taiwan early morning time to do this. So I will make that announcement. We'll have a post, but stay tuned. Okay. I'll do a post here on YouTube to let everybody know when the next week, next Sunday, the time will be different. That's my point. Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining in. And I love the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want, what type of video. Like I said, I just did a new video on 4 types of insomnia. If you want me to do something, a video on a specific topic, let me know. All right. I'm here to serve. All right. Have a great